Okay, cool. So we are live. We are live. All right. Well, let's get this show started. All right. So first off, what I'm gonna definitely let everybody know right now is I'm not going to sit around for the entire usual amount of time for this stream. I'm gonna just really dedicate somewhere around like 25, 30 minutes. I have some things that I want to cover. So what I ended up doing is I ended up setting up the entire show, and being the fact that I'm only going to be doing it for, let's say, 25, 30 minutes, I'm not going to finish everything I wanted to. So I'm going to look forward to doing like the exercise of the day. I'm going to touch base with like the supplement of the day, the vitamin of the day, stuff like that. That's all going to play out tomorrow on tomorrow's stream. What I'm going to cover today is the main topics. The two main topics that I had to touch base on is exactly what you're seeing in the title. First one is how to get rid of the stubborn belly fat. We're going to talk about that, to get rid of it, what it is, how long does it take to actually come? All of that stuff we'll kind of, dive into. And then I also said target training. So when we're looking at target training, what does it actually mean? And spot reduction, what does that mean? Because, target training for a lot of people, they might want to consider just having bigger biceps or just having bigger arms. And then spot reduction, there are certain cases where people just want to reduce fat in certain areas. So there's a difference between the two, but we'll touch base with both and see kind of how they, kind of connect and kind of go from there. So first off, and then, with tomorrow's show, I'll fill y'all in on the rest. All right. So first off, I want to go ahead and dive right into it. When it comes down to getting rid of the stubborn belly fat, let's go ahead and talk about belly fat itself. All right. So first off, everybody's going to have a different area where their body actually stores body fat. It's going to be different for each individual. And for people, the midsection first. For some people, that's sometimes the last place. They might store more body fat around their legs, arms, their back area, things like that. And then they'll end up filling out more in the midsection later down the line. So for each individual that's actually storing body fat, it's going to be a little different with what type of body fat you actually see. All right. For those individuals that are going to consume calories or foods that contain high calories, and they start packing on a certain amount of fat and it ends up being more towards the midsection, that's definitely going to be a easier fat to get rid of, okay? Because as fast as it actually packs on, in most cases, is almost as fast as you could actually get it off. Now, if you end up being one of those individuals where you end up where, like, let's say you end up, you know what I mean? You eat or whatever, you start packing on weight, you start packing in your arms, start packing fat in your arms, your legs, your back, and then you end up with some body fat in the midsection, all right, more towards the stomach area. Definitely going to notice that's more of the difficult, stubborn belly fat that people really talk about. All right. Some people get it and some people don't. Some people see their six pack come in seconds. All right. Within days, weeks. Just really depends on the individual. Whereas in other cases, some people work at this thing for a long time, man, a really long time. And what ends up happening is they're not going about handling the reduction of that particular area, the fat in that area. They're not going about handling it the right way. I'm going to go ahead and lay it down on you. I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to draw it out any longer. It's as simple as this. You're going to follow through with diet and exercise, right? But it's a particular type of exercise and a particular type of diet. Your diet, you must make sure there's certain things that are in the equation. Number one is going to be stress. I'm telling you right now, the way that it's going to play out on a positive note is if you've reduced all the possible stress in your life in order to, kind of make your body generate to a point where you're reducing all and every type of fat throughout your entire body. That's the way that you want to fully operate. When it comes down to your exercises, you want to gear towards high intensity. All right. Zanita, what's up? How you doing? So when it comes down to exercises, you definitely want to make sure you gear towards the higher intensity. Now, for some people, they may not be able to do high intensity exercises for whatever reason. You have to actually try to work yourself to that point. There's certain avenues that you can go down in order to trigger and target body fat through your diet. But I'm telling you right now, when you combine a good diet, which I'm gonna touch base with in a second, and you combine this high intensity exercise that I'm kind of describing, it'll usually equate to the body, triggering not only the regular fat that it has throughout, you know, your arms, your legs and stuff like that, but it'll then trigger that stubborn belly fat that's really, really hard to get to. For a lot of people, they'll tell you in a lot of situations that that just can't really come off, or it's possible, but it takes a really, really long time. It can take a long time. It just depends on what you're actually doing in order to get to that ending point. All right. It is very important that you focus and target a very strict eating schedule. When it all boils down to it, you're gonna find that vegetables in all shapes and forms. All right, I'm not going to really break down any particular ones that you need to aim for. You're just going to find that any meals containing a lot of vegetables, salads, and things like that are definitely the avenue that you want to go down when it comes down to getting rid of the stubborn belly fat. Stay away from those foods that contain high calories, like your hamburgers, your fries, your high carb foods and stuff like that. Definitely stay away from that, because at the end of the day, your body's going to try and utilize the carbohydrates from those sources as a source of energy instead of tapping into the stubborn belly fat that it usually would if you were consuming vegetables, or even having vegetables taken out of the equation and going about certain meals with just protein, or maybe protein and a little bit of carbs, cutting back on it to its greatest amount that you possibly can. So that's kind of how you would go about handling getting rid of the stubborn belly fat. All right, it's going to be applied in those three ways. You're going to reduce stress, you're going to focus on your eating, focus on your diet. With the combination of all three, you're definitely going to see some great things happen. It usually equates to exactly what you're aiming for, which is the reduction of the stubborn, hard to get to belly fat that sometimes individuals can't even see their abs, they can't see their six pack, and they're right there. You know, the stomachs are somewhat flat, but it's right there to that point where they want to see a little bit more. This is going to be the way out and how you actually get there. Let me stop and see what John is saying. Are you a fan of fasting? Love your videos. John, I'm a big fan of fasting. I actually just released an intermittent fasting video. Let me see. Let me get this sun out of my eyes. Give me a second. Yeah, because this kind of killing me. All right, cool. Yeah, so, oh, it's on the other side too. Well, I'll just deal with that later. But yes. So yeah, John, I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting. It's definitely an avenue that I would go down if you're looking to target the stubborn belly fat. A big thing that I like to do when it comes down to targeting stubborn belly fat, I throw a tip at y'all real fast. What I really like to focus on is doing high intensity training after I've been fasted for my full fasting period. All right. So if I'm fasting for 15 hours, I want to make sure that I'm actually working out on the 15th hour. Does that make sense? So you're going to work out in a fasted state. Not only are you in a fasted state, but you've been fasted for the last 15 hours, which means the chances of you actually tapping into your fat stores, particularly the stubborn belly fat, that'll be easily done because your body doesn't have anything else to rely on. There isn't many carbohydrates left in the system. There isn't many calories in general left in the tank. So your body's left to rely on your reserves. Your reserves are usually going to be either your glycogen that's stored within the muscles, or that's going to be your body fat that you usually what will lead to you also being able to tap into the stubborn belly fat. It sometimes could actually happen from something like fasting. Empty belly training, love it. Yeah, John, if you on that, you know what's up. I mean, a lot of people that tell you that's not the way to go about working out, because you may become lightheaded. You may not be able to take on the workout, things like that. So what I've found to be a true fact is that those things have played and worked on me when I first started training without any food. So I would work out, without any food, and mentally I would kind of mess myself up, and I would almost swear that I'm starting to feel lightheaded, and I'm starting to feel dizzy, and I was feeling all types of different ways. But at the end of the day, it ended up being something that was all in my head, because after I continuously did the same thing again and again and again, over a period of time, those things slowly just kind of went away. All right. I no longer felt lightheaded. I actually felt faster. I feel more energetic when I go into my workouts on in a fasted state. Now, I must say, fasted state, it does affect your performance. You may not be able to run as long. You may not be able to lift as much weight. You may feel that you're eager to do it. But at the same time, once you get engaged in the actual exercise, you're going to notice your burnout is going to happen a lot faster. You're not going to be able to sustain the same way you would as if you packed in a bowl of spaghetti or a bowl of macaroni prior to that same particular exercise. All right, John says it's all mental. You're looking lean. Yeah, I'm looking lean. You're right. You're right, man. Yo, John, I'm looking lean right now because I'm about to get the ball rolling. I'm considering actually competing in 2022. So I have an injury which I'm gonna dive into probably in a later video, but I have chronic bicipital tendonitis. So I have that in my right shoulder. I'm gonna talk all about it, how I got it, and stuff like that. What I've done treat it, how I'm battling it right now, but it does affect how I train. It affects how long I could train. Everything is actually greatly affected, even my daily activities, things like picking boxes up, moving anything that involves the front deltoid, which ties into the bicep, which is down here. But when you look at the bicipital tendon, it travels from the shoulder all the way down through the bicep into the forearm. So I'm looking to actually talk about how I'm getting through that, because I think a lot of guys face that same thing, the issues with the right deltoid or left deltoid. Usually it'll come with a lot of bench pressing. That's something that I've been facing for the last few years. All right, I had it in 2017 and I'm still battling it today. Not because I've been making it worse, because it's just taking this long to actually make it better. So I'm gonna talk all about that in a separate video. I think that'll be something that a lot of guys will definitely be into, because they happen to be the ones that end up with that particular injury. So outside of that, on all we just covered, anybody brand new just stepping in the building, just letting y'all know, look, if you're trying to get rid of the stubborn belly fat, number one, I mean, before you even mess with the diet, before you even mess with the exercise, you need to reduce your stress levels. All right, just individually throughout your life, whatever you have going on in any way, shape, or form possible, you want to look to actually reduce stress. All right, that's number one. You're gonna find anywhere you look, that's the number one tying connection into why people cannot lose weight. It's the fact that they do all the right things. They running every day, 2-3 hours, whatever it is, eating salads, grilled chicken and fish, but they still can't manage to bring the weight down to those points that they want to. And that ends up being something outside of what they're doing. They keep targeting fitness and nutrition, but it ends up being something like stress that could actually affect that. So look into it. You'll see it's very, very real. It could attack anybody at any point in time. It'll really throw your mental state of mind way out of the loop, because you're going to swear on everything that you're doing it all the right way, but you're still not seeing those great results. Get onto that great diet. All right, the diet needs to involve your high vegetables, high fibrous vegetables, usually is the case, high protein. When we talk about fats, you want to get more towards your healthy fats, all right? Your almonds, your cashews, your peanuts, things like that is definitely the avenue you need to go down when you want to consider taking in fat calories along with your good eating vegetables and your salads and stuff like that, and your high protein meals. That'll usually equate to what you're looking for if you're trying to get rid of the stubborn belly fat and you're trying to go down the avenue of nutrition. Exercise. When it comes down to exercise, and I'm gonna go a little deeper into exercise because I feel like there's a slight bit of a need, because some people may not know and understand what I'm talking about when I say high intensity training or HIIT training. All right. When I talk about exercise and you actually tapping into stubborn belly fat, it doesn't necessarily mean you go to the gym and you curl weights and you just kind of walk around, walk the treadmill. You have to actually target and outside your comfort zone. All right. So just to give you an idea of what you need to look like, the person that actually, so let's say I go do some sprints right alongside my man. He wants to do sprints right there with me. We get to that end point. He is gasping for air. He's almost damn near ready to fall and pass out. All right. So that's more so where you want to be or consider taking your workouts when you talk about HIIT training. All right. You got to be at a point where you actually are gasping for air. All right. We talked about it. EPOC, remember, excessive pulmonary oxygen consumption. We kind of covered that in yesterday's video. That talks about what actually happens inside the body when it all comes down to it, when you are actually trying to see, are you going to trigger the afterburner effect? Remember the afterburner effect? It's that 24 to 48 hour effect that takes place if you actually do a workout that's high enough in intensity where you trigger that afterburner effect. and burn calories during the workout, but you're meant to actually burn calories for the next 24 to 48 hours. Usually it's as long as that effect lasts, and that effect will last longer as long as you push your body past those comfort zones. So that's where I wanted to really dive and tap into when we talk about exercise. This is not basic exercise when you talk about getting rid of stubborn belly fat. It is a particular type of training. That type of training usually involves HIIT training, which involves your heart rate increasing to very, very high points, nowhere near where you almost are ready to pass out. So you gotta be somebody that's somewhat experienced in the gym, and you don't end up going overboard too quick, too fast. You have to kind of know your limits in the beginning. I mean, in the very beginning, take it easy, have your heart rate increase to certain points, feel good about the levels that you hit, but always look forward to hitting higher points than where you ended up the last time. That'll usually help you know and understand where your limits are and how far you can actually take your workouts. So when it comes down to exercise, it is what it is. You're gonna have to train really, really getting just putting up weights and you're expecting to get rid of stubborn belly fat. It is possible. A lot of bodybuilders do it, but it usually takes a lot longer. And I can't even really give you a time period. It could almost be, a lot of months. Some people might even say years. I never really seen that be the case, but it is possible. Depending on how hard you work at it, that's how much you'll actually see back. All right. So we covered it. How to get rid of the stubborn belly fat. We tapped into the stress. We tapped into the foods. We tapped into the exercise. Now let's move on to the next topic. All right. So I'm going to hang out with y'all for like 15 more minutes. It looks like we already 16 minutes in. Like I said, for anybody brand new that just stepped in the building, what I'm doing today is, the way that I'm structuring every show is it's always going to have segments and things that we cover. I usually cover a vitamin of the day, exercise of the day, something to just kind of get you going. All of that's contained in my videos. I like to even have my little cooking session, just like I had in the last video. But today I can only chill with y'all for 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into the next question. And we'll continue with more questions. And I'm going to finish it up with all what I just mentioned. All right. But just letting y'all know you're not going to see that today. So the next thing, I thought this one was real good and it ties directly into what we just talked about. So the target training, all right? So target training and spot reduction. Anybody brand new just stepping in the building, I'm gonna bring you up to speed. When we talk about target training, that's different than spot reduction, all right? Spot reduction, you might have a female, let's say, she wants to see less body fat in her arms. She's gonna think and consider, how can I go about reducing the area or reducing the fat in that one spot, all right? That's how spot reduction works. When we talk about target training, you're going to have guys who say, all right, I just, I'm good with my chest. I'm good with my arms. I'm just trying to get like a bigger back. So I'm going to go and I'm going to hit as many pull-ups as possible and see if I could get my back as big as possible to kind of measure up with everything else. So a lot of people are asking, are these things actually able to be done? And the answer is no. All right. Now let's talk about each individually. So when I say no, it is no to a certain degree, right? When you talk about target training, yeah, that is a fact. That is a fact that you can actually get in the gym every day and just go and hit biceps. Will your biceps be big? Yeah, they're going to grow. They're going to get big. The idea of will they actually end up the size, the exact same size that you want that measures correctly with the rest of your body, you may not actually have control of that. All right. You might do a workout. You might see your biceps grow a lot. You might consider trying to have them shrink back down. So when you talk about target training, trying to get in there, you just want to change one area. It's best done when it's actually done in combination with everything else. All right. So don't try to get in the gym and say, yo, I like my chest. I like my back. I just want bigger arms. Let me go ahead and hit these curls so I can get a bigger, bigger biceps or whatever. And I'm going to be good. What you're going to find ends up being the case is like, again, yes, your biceps are going to get big, but what's going to end up being the case is your others don't match. So now let me go ahead and hit shoulders. And you hit shoulders and you only hit shoulders and biceps. So now you're looking at your triceps. You're like, well, now my triceps don't match with anything. It's all out of whack. So the idea when it comes down to target training is you don't want to do it. All right. You want to make sure you work each body part individually. And as it grows as a whole is how you more so want to attack any particular area. If you want to see bigger biceps, you need to hit your shoulders. You need to hit your triceps. You need to hit your back. Why? Because all of this in combination is going to have an effect on how much you could actually lift, how much power, force you could actually put out. All right. So it's very important that you don't consider doing just one particular exercise or focus on one particular body part. At the end of the day, yeah, it's something that you could do. you'll gain some benefit in there, but you'll see because it's going to create so many muscle imbalances throughout, it'll end up possibly causing injury because your body bear a certain amount of weight, but you not working on your shoulders, it's not ever going to build up the same strength that the biceps is working with. And the moment you take on enough weight, it's going to be an imbalance, and you're going to possibly face that chance of injury. So that's definitely not the direction you want to go. Target training, don't do it. Just focus on the entire body, A to Z. If you want to do full body training, that's something that you could consider Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you want to do something like bro splits, that's also something that you can do. If you don't know what bro splits are, that usually has people working like a bicep tricep on one day, back and chest on another day. That's usually called bro splits, if you know the gym lingo and all of that stuff. Dorothy, how you doing? I see you in the building. Renee says, how many hours should you wait between eating and working out? So Renee, if I explain it here and you don't happen to gain a grasp exactly what I'm saying, I did touch base on this in my last video. So what I did is I ended up cooking a salad. And this particular salad that I made, I particularly put it together with some grilled chicken. And that was also with the fact that I needed to go to the gym within, I would say, like an hour's time. And I thought that for me ended up being a very light meal. So each individual will be a little different. If you're asking me just in general, just how many hours would I wait before I actually worked out after I've consumed a meal, I would usually wait 3 hours. All right, this is generally just laying it out. Now, you'll find that in different situations, under different circumstances, you may not need to wait 3 hours. I don't want to discourage you and you say, oh man, I was supposed to hit the gym at 6, but I just ate some vegetables at 5. So I really can't do it, because if I consider going to the gym, it would have to be at 8. That's 3 hours from the time that conservative guy said. So I don't want you to feel like that. I want you to know and understand that you can actually go to the gym almost after a meal. It just matters how heavy that meal actually is. All right. If the meal is really not that heavy, yeah, you probably can get out there, do some jumping jacks, jump around, do sprints for 30 minutes at a time or whatever. However you need to go about handling your workout. Usually it could be done if the meal is light enough. The heavier you eat, the longer you wait. Just as simple as that. So if you sit down to your rice, your beans, your vegetables, and it's a 4-course meal and you have all of your favorite ingredients contained, yeah, you may want to wait it out because you don't want to get to the gym and possibly cramp, or, it could get messy when it all boils down to it. I try to make sure that if the meal is very, very heavy, it could even get even heavier. I mean, I have my moments. I've eaten like full large pizzas. Like I'll order a pizza, I'll eat the whole large thing by myself. If that be the case, you might find out I might even wait 6 hours before I end up in the gym, just because I don't want to go in there feeling that groggy stuff feeling. So that's kind of more so how I see it. When it comes back to the target training, when you're dealing with the target training, I advise everybody to just go about it in the way that you actually set up a program where you're actually utilizing all the muscle groups throughout your body. Don't just stay on one particular one with hopes that one will grow to the size that you're looking for, because usually in most situations, most scenarios, that is not going to be the case. All right. Well, let's finish this up. I got 7 more minutes. Let's finish this up with spot reduction. All right. Spot reduction. This is definitely the one. All right. If you thinking that you're going to get out there and you're going to just do cardio or just cut out enough calories to put your body in a deficit, lose weight, and you're just going to reduce in one particular area, that is not true. You probably heard it many, many times before. You're hearing it from me because, yeah, that is very, very true. That is not the way that it works. The way that it works is the body is going to change as a whole, okay? What I mean by as a whole is you don't have control over where your body's going to reduce body fat from, okay? You're not going to go to the and be like, I'm gonna hit up this exercise, and this exercise, and that's gonna reduce the body fat from this place, and this place. It's just not how it works. All you want to do is go about all of the necessary things to reduce your weight and do as much exercise that you need to do in order to reduce your body fat. And at the end of the day, you're gonna find that the body fat will reduce from particular areas that you don't have control over. You might be happy with it, you might not. But all you got to do is just let nature take its course and you just do your thing. So with that being said, all that can do is push you to be a better person. Why? Because that could also cause you to settle, right? Imagine if you went to the gym and said, "Oh, I'm just hitting up the gym because I need to reduce some body fat right up under these arms real fast. And after 2 weeks, I'm gonna go right back to doing what I was normally doing." That's what ends up being those end up being the people that end up tapping out. They look for a certain something in the gym, they don't see it, and then they tap out. Now, if you had a different train of thought going on in your mind, and you actually were going about it every day saying, "Look, I don't care what I lose. I don't care where I lose it. I just know at the end of 6 months, I would like to hit X, Y, and Z goal." You know what I mean? I'm sure at the end of the day, if I work out today, it'd be in January, and I touch base with my trainer and check my results in June, I'm probably going to see a change. And if you just accept that the change could happen anywhere throughout, don't count on any particular place and feel like, yo, I'm about to be upset because I'm not seeing the reduction in my stomach area. That's not the train of thought you want to be on. You want to be on a train of thought. Be happy the fact that you reduce body fat in your legs. Be happy that you reduced in your arms, anywhere else throughout. And over a period of time, what will eventually end up happening is the area that you've been working on and waiting for, that's going to be the area that goes. All right. It's sad to say, but the stomach area is the last place for your body fat to be reduced from. All right. Everywhere throughout is going to go. Just for all of y'all that are waiting on that stomach area, you're going to be waiting a lot longer than everybody else. Those, the females out there, I think they got like the bat wings and all of that. They don't like their arms and stuff like that. Yeah, you're much more safer when it comes down to you seeing the results in a quicker amount of time. Yo, oh no, let me not even share, man. I'm gonna keep it. It's something about my political channel, man. Like, yo, they be blowing up my phone with like these messages about the donating, and I'm just like, man, y'all gotta like leave me alone. I got like 100 messages about donating, and I'm just like, yo, y'all gotta chill, man. But donating to the Republicans, yo, it is what it is. Let me keep it fitness though. Let me keep it fitness. Y'all gonna see me on the political joint tomorrow. It's gonna be tomorrow. Yo, check me out. Anybody that has not seen the little memo pop in, I'm sure if you hear, you know about the political joint. But you saw I'm gonna be on Hood Conservatives channel tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or if you're in Central like me, it'll be at 2 o'clock. But yeah, I think that's it. Let me I see we got 3 minutes. Everybody, thank you so much for coming out. John, Zanita, anybody that I see up in the chat right now, Renee, Dorothy, thank you so much for coming out. I'm not done yet. Let me just make sure, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna fine tune it. I want to make sure I filled y'all in on all the information. I'm gonna even try to touch base more with y'all on different levels. I even chopped it up with Wifey, talked about possibly getting out to like restaurants and even filming some of the times that I actually go to restaurants. So y'all could actually even experience and see there are food choices that you could go for that are in restaurants that won't really, you know what I'm saying, lead you down the wrong path when it comes down to you trying to hit your goals. I know a lot of times people consider going out as like the cheat or something that you never want to do. Yesterday, I even talked about how much you need to, I stressed how much you need to start cooking because that's something to consider when you're trying to save money. But it is something that you could always treat yourself to, getting out there, going to a restaurant. You'll find that I like Jersey Mike's. I don't know what state y'all are in. You know, Jersey Mike's usually does the sandwiches. If you got a Subway around you, I'll rely on the Subway, you know. But for me, more so, it's like chicken, rice, vegetables, salads, and sandwiches. And I never really, stray outside of that. But when I go to a restaurant, I have that opportunity, and it doesn't always put me in a position where you have to cheat. So I figure what I'm gonna try to do for everybody is, ever so often, I'm gonna pull up to a restaurant, I'm gonna be ready to film, and I'm gonna try and, set it up just like I'm doing here and kind of talk to y'all, just about menus and stuff like that. Because you'll be surprised, man. It's like you'll think that restaurants would cater to like the healthy audience, but surprisingly they don't. You really got to pick and choose, here and there, unless you actually go to a restaurant that is specifically for healthy eating. I mean, those are usually the ones that you end up with the best results on your choices. But when you pull up to like that Applebee's, I'm just calling out names that everybody probably knows. You're Outback, you know what I'm saying? You're like, whatever restaurants you do that's around your way, a lot of those is going to lead you down a path where you're just looking at that menu and you're like, damn, I got like 2 choices. or I end up just eating like meat, you know what I'm saying? No bread, because the sandwiches that they have usually are like too high calorie. But there's ways about going about handling all that stuff. For the most part, I think I'm gonna sum it up and finish it right there. I just hit my 30-minute mark. I'm gonna go ahead and say, look, when it comes down to it, when you're trying to get rid of the stubborn belly fat off top, get rid of the stress. Two, focus on your exercise. The type of exercise you need to aim for needs to be HIIT training, high intensity interval training. That's the acronym HIIT. If you look into that, that'll definitely help you understand exactly what I'm talking about. I'm gonna try to get in and do it in a physical for y'all sometime in the near future. So look out for that too. But for the most part, get into your HIIT training. That'll steer you down to vegetables, your salads, and your high protein meals. And always your healthy fats. All right. Don't go for the saturated fats, the monounsaturated, all of that. Stay away from. When it comes down to target training, just try not to get all caught up in it. I know even for the guys, for the most part, girls too, they want the big booties and stuff like that. So they want to just see their booty get bigger. You don't want a big, you know what I'm saying? And not everything else grow with it, you know? So at the end of the day, just work your body as a whole. You'll end up growing, especially not only as a whole and look better, but you'll fill out better. You know what I mean? Everything will match up. It won't be all like off balance. And then outside of that, oh yeah, and then we said the spot reduction. So with the spot reduction, just be mindful. You're not going to lose body fat from one particular area. All right, I know you heard it before. Body fat midsection is usually the last place for it to go. So just be mindful out there looking for it, and you've seen it happen everywhere else, but you're feeling to understand that it's going to eventually happen. It's going to take a little longer, and that's where the midsection will eventually go. Just hang tight. It'll be cool. For tomorrow's show, I'm gonna definitely get with y'all on tomorrow's show. All right. I got more to talk about. Just so you know, for tomorrow's show, the topic is gonna be, should I do crunches to see a change in my stomach area? Right? Directly connects to what we're talking about today: spot reduction, target training. So now you kind of starting to ask yourself, like, all right, I'm ready for the six pack. I'm ready to go. When it comes down to exercises, should I do crunches to see a change in my stomach area? We'll dive into that. I'll talk about pros, cons, things to look out for. All of that we'll cover in a good bit of time. Another one I have here is, can I lose more weight if I cut fat out of my diet completely? So I know a lot of y'all play that game. I mean, I've been there before. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I've been at a position in my life where I said to myself, yo, if I just take out fat entirely, just boom, and I only consume carbs and protein, do I still stand a chance of either one, building muscle, or two, reducing weight? I'm gonna fill that in. I'm gonna answer all of that tomorrow in tomorrow's video, and I'm gonna give y'all pros, cons, different things to look out for. And then the next one I wanted to dive into is, can I hit my goals without proper water consumption? A lot of people out there are deep into fitness. They go to the gym 7 days a week, 24/7, but they may not consume the necessary amounts of water. How much of an effect will that have on the body? Again, we'll talk about pros, cons, things like that, what I've experienced in my 15 years of personal training, what I've seen clients admit to doing, like coming in with like no water, me working them to death, they still turning around and just like killing the workout like I never seen before. I'll talk all about that, what I think is actually happening in their body. We'll talk about how the body actually absorbs water from food, what types of foods and stuff like that. So we'll get real deep with the vitamin supplement and exercise of the day. Vitamin of the day, I thought it would be a good one to touch on because I had a question about it. B12. All right, so I'll talk all about B12, some pros, cons, benefits, areas to look out for it, what it actually does for the body. We'll touch base with that. I also want to talk about supplement of the day. Supplement of the day is going to be creatine. We're going to talk about creatine, the importance of it, why it happens to be one of the most best forms of creatine that you could actually take in, which the one I'm going to dive into is monohydrate. There are different forms of creatine. I'm going to definitely touch base more so with monohydrate, mainly for the fact that creatine monohydrate has been studied for over 20 years. Being that it has been studied for such a long period of time, it's a more trustworthy, reliable source to go to if you were considering intaking any type of creatine. There's some others on the market, some others on the line that they claim to have certain effects and benefits. Feel free to dive and touch base with those. right now they have been studied as long as the monohydrate has been studied for. So that's the more sort of one that I trust and rely on if I was gonna advise anybody to go the creatine route when it comes down to using it. The last thing is actually gonna be the exercise of the day that we'll touch base on, and that'll be the jump squats. All right, so jump squats will be the exercise, and I particularly want to dive into that because it ties into HIIT training. When you do HIIT training, you're gonna find that jump squats may be an exercise that you incorporate almost 80% of the time, every time you create a program, because they usually get the heart rate going, they usually get the legs burning, they usually get the muscles building, and that's the direction you want to go when it comes down to the stubborn belly fat and possibly building as much muscle as possible. But let me get up off this one. I don't want to make it too long. Y'all stay tuned. I don't know exactly what time I'm gonna be on tomorrow. I'm gonna probably make it around about, no, I can't do it at this time because I'm gonna be on that show with Hood Conservative. So I'm gonna probably make it somewhere around either show. I most likely do it before because I like to. It's almost like getting warmed up. I know it's fitness, but it'll get me warmed up for the politics. But I'm gonna get up off this one. Thank you so much for everybody for coming out. Hopefully y'all learned a lot today. Again, I try to give it to you in a way that you may not be hearing it elsewhere. All right. Feel free to get in, do your own research, find different avenues, find different people that you trust as well. Explore what they have to say, compare it, see how it differs, see what works for your body, and then fill me in. You know, I've seen many things that I've put out. People have done things above and beyond, maybe even what I advise, and they come back with great results. So it is what it is, man. I'm gonna get up off this one. Zach, thank you for coming out. Lexador, I always get the names wrong. Y'all can't hate me for messing up the names. Lexador. All right, so appreciate all of your content as well. Thank you. She says she says thanks. Do you have a business email that we can ask questions for fitness related? Yes, I do have a business email. There should be one later on today in the description below this video. It's not going to be one right now because I haven't put it on yet. I just jumped on the live. But as far as any one of my other fitness videos, feel free to dive in on any one of those. Look in the description below. Not only will it have avenues where you can actually reach and contact me for programs, eating regimens, questions. It'll also have some avenues if you wish to donate. I have a PayPal, I have a Cash App, and I'll also have Venmo. So all of those areas are definitely opened up. Hopefully you find one to go down, and I'll see you at the end of the tunnel, man. I'm gonna get up off this one. Thank you everybody for coming out. Y'all don't forget to hit that like button. And it is what it is, man. Let me get up off this one. Conservative guy, I'm out.